Hey guys, I'm Brian and you're watching On the Hunt. Today we're going to finish up my pop display and we're going to go into a little bit more detail about how I did my lighting, so stay tuned. Hey guys, if you're new to the channel, hit that subscription button, hit the bell notification if you want to know when I upload my latest videos, and go ahead and hit that like button while you're there. Alright, so let's get started. If you look back here, we don't have any shelves. I wasn't sure if I was going to do the lighting on these shelves, but they're coming out with a lot of glow-in-the-dark pops, so this is just all going to be glow-in-the-dark. You can see I finished this off. These may look a little bit different than what you saw in the previous videos. These are now glass shelves. I think I mentioned that in the last video that I was going to change out the wooden ones for the glass ones. So I went ahead and did that. And now we're going to finish up the last bit of shelves here. So the materials I'm going to be using for my glass shelves and lighting are the Billy bookcase shelf. It's a glass shelf. And this here is the brackets to hold the shelf in. And then for the lighting, you need the channel. I'm going to cut this to size. This is an aluminum LED channel here. And it will be held by these two brackets and screws. If you can see those. And that is only for this wooden piece here. This stays a wooden piece because it is a supporting member of the bookcase. And then we have end caps to finish off the aluminum channel after I cut it. And then super glue to super glue the channel to the glass for those shelves, which will be down this way. And wire. So this is the wire that runs to the back. It's called 18-2, which is 18 gauge 2 wire within this white jacket. You have a red and black in there. And then the LED tape lights, which is this right here. So we'll cut this to size and we'll cut them at these copper portions right here where the scissors are. And that's all the materials that we're going to be using to set this up. And then of course the related tools. So let's get to it. So first thing we're going to do is measure the length for the aluminum channel. And that will be this distance here. And what we have is 29 3/4. So we'll take the aluminum channel and mark it at 29 3/4. So here, it doesn't have to be exact, just close. Here we go. So right there, mark it at the top, because that's how I'm going to cut it. And then if you look on this side, I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'll be doing 5 at the chop saw. So let's go ahead and do it. Now that we have them all cut, we'll go back inside and do the next step. So quick tip with this LED rail, if you see here, that's the edge that was cut. You can see some of the aluminum went down into that hole there. So what you want to do is you can take some needle nose pliers, sort of squish it down inside that triangle hole, like so. And that will allow the end cap to slide on more easily. So, there we go. So there you have it. Okay, so this is how this is gonna fit. This is where the lights are gonna go. So it's gonna be flat up against here like so. Now for this wooden shelf, we're gonna go ahead and use the brackets. So we're gonna try to get you in a little bit closer to see what's going on. We are going to just pick about a 1/8 of an inch or so away, and that will be the edge of the bracket, and try to line it flush with the front of this shelf edge. Okay, so those are the brackets here. And this is the channel. This is how it clips in. Stick it right on there and click it in. So that's how that looks. But now we have to install the light strips first. So now we're going to start cutting our LEDs for the track. So if you look here, that's our track. So we'll start the LED down here. And we'll go as far as we can go until we see this right here. So that's where we will make our cut. So just cut straight down the middle. And with these, they didn't come with double-sided tape. They came in this rubber sheeting, but I'm going to pull that off. So now this is ready to tape down on the channel. So I went ahead and cut all the pieces. And what I'm going to do first, we're going to cut our little lengths of wire that go to the back. So we're going to just rough it. We're going to give it basically the depth distance plus a little bit more. And then we will cut one of these for each shelf. So this here. Because what we're going to have to do is strip the end of each side to make the connection. So one of the things I forgot to show you is the wire connectors. So if you look here, this side here has teeth that pierce into the tape, into the positive and negative terminals, and then they correlate with the wires that will come out on this side. So this side actually pierces the round wires that we have, and I'll show you how that works. So if you look on the LED tape here, this is the end we'll be piercing. Now you want to determine which side is positive and which side is negative. So if you look here, we have a marking, positive and negative, and as you can see, all of these letters we can read. So the top is positive, bottom is negative. So what we're going to do is we're going to notate that in our head, and we'll stick this in this side to pierce those two. So now that we have that pierced, we have to strip one of these sides of the wire for the positive and negative to go into here. We now have the white sheathing stripped back, so it exposes the red and black. So we're going to use red positive, black negative. So if you remember here, okay, we're reading this right side up, so this is positive on this side and negative on this side. So positive, negative, red, black. So we'll take that and slip that in like so. Then push that down to pierce the wires. Now you may have to use pliers for this. At least so you get a good connection. Alright, so there we go. And we're going to do that for the rest of them before we connect the LED tape to the channel. Okay, we finished making all of our connections here to the wire. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and strip this end to prepare it. Again, we're going to cut the white sheathing off, and then this time we're actually going to strip the black and red sheathing for some bare wire. And I'll get into the connectors that will go on this end when we get to the back of the bookcase. So you have that. Okay, now that we've stripped all these down, we're going to connect the tape to the track. So again, for this tape, this LED tape, we actually had to buy a separate double-sided tape. This is 3M double-sided tape. So what we'll do is we will stick one side to the track, and then there's the protective sheet here that will peel off to expose the sticky side for the LEDs. Okay, so we finally got an edge up, if you can see this here. So just pull down real quick, expose the sticky. This is going to go into that side, so I'll start here. I want to make sure and get the connector here on good. Okay, then just go along and start attaching the tape. Don't press too hard on the LEDs, but in between you can. It really doesn't need that much force. So now that we have all of our lights ready to go, just like this one, we are going to install our shelves so we know where to drill the holes for the wires. Okay, all the shelves are now installed, and I have my drill and bit ready. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill a hole in the top corner under each shelf right here for the wire to pass through. So we'll do the first one, and then I'll get the rest off camera. That's it right there. We'll pass the wire through that hole. Alright, the holes are all drilled, and I will show you how to install this first one with the brackets. Okay, just hook that piece in there, then push it in to snap, and then go ahead and take these wires and just shove them through the hole that we just created. And that's it for that. And then I'll show you how to do the glass one here. Basically what we're going to do is we're going to take our super glue here on our channel here and put a dab on this side and do the same thing on the other side. So here, dab, okay. And so far that's all I've needed. Just one dab on each side. Because as we press down, it'll spread. So what you want to do is, don't stick the glue on the glass quite yet. Try to line everything up first. So you can come in at an angle like this. Try to line the front edge up. And you can do a tiny bit of movement, but once you're set there, just hold it probably about 30 seconds. Alright, so after that, it's going to be the same for these, but this bottom one, depending what you put under here, if you want to put a normal size pop, you have to put the brackets where you can remove the LED channel so that you can move it out of the way. Okay guys, we're here on another day, and I let these sit overnight. So I went ahead and put these brackets, just super glue, same as how we put these channels on. You super glue the bracket to the glass, and now all we have to do is connect this LED channel here and snap it in. And route this wire to the back, and then we will go around the back and I'll show you how we wired it up on that side. So before we start wiring the shelves, you can see that the top shelves were already wired. This line coming from the very top shelf is going to be our main line, and every other shelf taps into it. So that main line comes down. So I'll have to remove more of that white sheathing right there to give the other shelves access to the power. So that goes all the way down here, and that line goes straight to the power supply that's plugged into the wall. And this is where the line tapped into the connector that goes to the power supply to the wall. And this connector came from the tape light. So I'll show you the one that came off of the other tape light. So right here, here's our tape light. This is what we have left over. So that portion down there is basically this cut off and connected to the white line. So I'm going to go ahead and expose the wires inside this white sheathing so we can connect these to it and give each shelf power. And I'll show you the connectors that we'll be using. Okay, so right now I'm removing the sheathing and going all the way down to the last shelf, because that's going to be where our last connection is. We want to make sure our power supply is disconnected. So I disconnected it at that point that I showed you earlier. Okay, so with these, we want to make sure they're nice and clean looking here, because we will be connecting some male Spade connectors to them, and this is what that looks like. And then on the other end, we're going to have a tap. So this here. So you sit the wire, so say red to red. We'll sit this in here, and I'll squeeze it down with pliers, make sure that it makes a good connection. And then there's a slot right here, a female slot that takes the male Spade, and that's how we make our connection from the shelf to the main line. So since these are prepped, I'm going to go ahead and crimp this on. Give it a little tug. Make sure it's nice and tight. I need to give that one another little squeeze. Okay. And for the next one, so I want to make sure we remember which one's positive and which one's negative. And we determined that by the color that we chose for each. So we did red positive and black negative. So next we'll crimp this one. Alright, so now we have those. Alright, so we're going to push this down here, and we'll use my channel locks to make it go all the way down. There you go. And we'll do the same thing for the black. So okay, so we'll go from black to black, make that connection, make sure you're actually getting in there. Okay, and then the red to red. Okay, so now that we have that connection, we can test that shelf. So this shelf here, I'm gonna bring the camera around and we'll see if it lights. Okay, success. So we'll do that for the rest and it'll be done. And I'll show you the end product when everything's pushed back in. So now we have it back in place. And there we go. All ready for pops. So we'll put back the ones that were in there and we'll show you what it looks like that way. Alright, so here we are. The finished product. So the last thing I need on that cabinet is the doors, like on the one to your left. So give me some feedback on the comments down below on what you guys thought about this video and this display. And I want to thank y'all for sitting through the video, and maybe you guys learned something new. If you guys have any questions, make sure to DM me on Instagram. I'll leave a link in the description below. Thanks for watching. I'm out. Peace.